All right, tight ends, and sad news to kick this one off that we hinted at. Hunter Henry's on a bye this week. The Hunter Henry run of being the guy to claim and stream is over. And we'll start with the Roto World player news, though, on that front, because if you are here looking for a tight end, there's a chance it's because Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert is out. He has a knee injury, could be a candidate for the short-term IR. Our first option is Will Dissly. Unfortunately, Matthew, Will Dissly coming off a week where he has the goose egg, but he's 58% available. He's got the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Chargers should be throwing a lot against Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, and when they're throwing, they should be throwing to Will Dissly, right? No team allows more receiving yards to tight ends this year than the Kansas City Chiefs. They allow 6.7 receptions per game to opposing tight ends, and so especially when you think about the fact that Ladd McConkey may not be in this game or may be less than 100%, and you're talking about the middle of the field is somewhere where you want to attack if you're the Chargers against Kansas City, Will Dissly should be busy on Sunday night. It's worth noting that, yes, goose egg last week, but Justin Herbert had, weirdly, and we thought Herbert was going to have a big game, but Herbert just had a bad day at the office all around. McConkey was the only thing that was sort of working for the Chargers in the passing game. I think he'll be better against the Chiefs. He has to be better. This is a big game for the Chargers in that division as well. So I think Herbert will be better, and I do think Dissly will be a part of that.
In the same game, Jay, Noah Gray, of course, against the Chargers on Sunday Night Football, who's not just a guy when Kelsey's banged up or limiting snaps. He's out there getting targets.
Yeah, he is, and he's had 15 targets across the past 3 weeks, 4 touchdowns. That's a little bit fluky, but this kind of down season for Travis Kelce has just coincided with the rise of Noah Gray. So if you're desperate for an option at tight end, certainly can do worse than Noah Gray.
Our last
that sounds like a bad sci-fi movie, by the way, The Rise of Noah Gray.
The Rise of Noah Gray.
Yeah, that sounds like something you see.
It was written by Isaac Asimov.
Yeah, pretty much.
Our last one, a favorite of yours, Matthew, Juwan Johnson against the Giants.
Still has his championship ring from
savior
last
of
year.
Live at Noon on the Cock.
Yeah.
Juwan Johnson, he's 97% available. Taysom Hill out for the season with a torn ACL, unfortunately.
Yeah, by the way, and that's the point, right? Taysom Hill's out for the season. And, you look around at the Saints, who else do they have?
MVS.
Honestly, it is. It's MVS, it's Alvin Kamara, and it will be Juwan Johnson, who had a 20% target share last week, gets the Giants this week. Now, I will say, for all the struggles the Giants have had, they actually play the tight end pretty well this year.
Yeah.
But Juwan Johnson, always a threat to score. And so, by the way, Theo Johnson also banged up. Speaking of tight ends, he's on the IR, the Giants starting tight end. So Juwan Johnson he's a touchdown-dependent tight end, but then again, aren't they all?
2 tight ends that are based on injury. Dawson Knox, of course, against the Rams. He's 92% available. We'll keep an eye on the status of Dalton Kincaid trying to work his way back. Luke Schoonmaker against the Bengals. If Jake Ferguson's still out, he's 90% available. So if you roster either Kincaid or Ferguson, potentially have these guys as insurance options on deck. If you need a defense, here's your options. The Titans against Jacksonville, a.k.a. against Mac Jones, 94% available. The Saints against the Giants. We'll see if that's Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito. And yes, the Cardinals, who have been much better in recent weeks on the defensive side of the ball. Plucky against a Seattle team that didn't have their best offensive day against the Jets. We know they pass over expected, but the Cardinals, they've been much better this year with not a ton of talent.
No. Similar to Dan Quinn, and I think because Washington and Jaden Daniels so exciting, and Washington's a big market, it's an East Coast market, Dan Quinn's gotten a ton of attention. Jonathan Gannon should be getting more attention for Coach of the Year. I don't think he really is, but again, that was another team that was sort of left for dead, and the Cardinals have a very legitimate shot at winning this division. Yep. Again, we talked about it. They've got the Panthers, they've got the Patriots, they got a divisional game this week, I think, right against Seattle. And then I think they play the Rams in Week 18. Yep. So they control their own destiny in their own way. It would not shock me if they run 4 in a row. They run the table the rest of the way.
Yep, they've got very favorable tiebreakers in that division. If they beat the Seahawks, they will, I think, likely win the NFC West, which is pretty crazy for a team that, last year was a complete mess. Started off the season 1-8 or whatever they did to get in this position and potentially host the playoff game is a great story.
Yep. If you need to make one of the additions we recommended today, here's your options to drop someone to make that addition. Kyle Pitts has been just dreadful for weeks now, 87% rostered. J.K. Dobbins, who's banged up, Josh Downs, who's still injured, Austin Eckler. Taysom Hill is out for the season with the torn ACL. Raheem Mostert's role has declined in Miami's offense. And Tyler Lockett, it's been the same for him in Seattle's offense as well when he's been healthy. We're going to take our first break. When we're back, we're recapping the Jameis Winston experience. Let the Lord deliver us from pick sixes. We're back after this.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.